advertisements all over the place. Well, Victoria's Secret. I've been thinking about this for a little while now. Somebody please tell me what the hell her secret is. I mean, the woman keeps leaving her damn bras and panties all over the damn place. She never gets in trouble. Now, right there is someone who's proud of his rig. He just spent the better part of 15 minutes out filming his rig. God bless him. That's a nice looking machine right there. And how is everybody in the trucking world today? We are on our way to Home Depot Distributing in Buren, Ohio. Just getting started. So let's get this day started. Let's get her going. I'm going to be talking about navigating as big trucks. These things are not easy to get around city streets. Any place that's really not designed for big trucks, you really need to be really careful trying to figure out a way. Later on in this video, I'll give you some tips and tricks on how I get by that. I don't really try worrying too much about it, but there's a lot of nice little tricks I use to avoid having to get into that problem to begin with. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that sign or not, but and a little bit of a backup here in Cincinnati. If you've been truck driving through this city a little bit of time, you are probably already know about this, but if you're going 75 north out of Kentucky into Ohio, they closed this bridge going over this state line, little river into Ohio. So you now have to divert up to 75. Sometimes GPS devices will let you know that. Oh, how convenient to segue into what we're talking about today, which is navigating. You know, I mean, it's not easy being a big truck. There's a lot of roads you can take, a lot of roads you cannot take. So how do you tell the difference? A lot of it's reading signs, a lot of it's reading, you know, just like that. You know, you come up on a situation where there's road closure. Most times, road closures, construction crews, they take big truck traffic into consideration, but not always. You know, they're supposed to consider all traffic, but doesn't mean that they're going to. So you really got to be thoughtful when it comes to navigating your route. They talk about trip planning when you're in CDL school. You'd be well advised to pay attention to everything they tell you. But there's stuff that they don't tell you. You know, they don't tell you about situations you're going to run into. They can't cover everything. You know? For example, I was going through, I want to say it was Madisonville, Kentucky. I was navigating north on State Road 41 or State Road 45, I forget which. It was a 2-lane. I had gone into Madisonville and I'd missed, there's a bypass around the city that you're supposed to take. And I'd missed that. I was focused on getting to the interstate and I missed the turn for the interstate. I was on a state road, so I figured, okay, nothing to happen, right? Well, I get into the middle of town and I meet this situation where a right-hand turn is a 9-foot clearance because of a railroad bridge. which was not marked on Navigo, and I couldn't really tell. I don't zoom into city-specific navigation with every single city I go through, so I couldn't tell with Google Maps. But at the same time, normal circumstances like that, I can navigate my way out of it. And thought, okay, well, what happens if I go straight? Well, I looked 2 blocks ahead, and there was a no truck sign, because apparently it was a residential area, and it, a weight issue or something. Couldn't make a left-hand turn because that was into a plaza or a business. It was clearly marked no through trucks, so I couldn't go that way. So I had to zoom in on 2 different maps just to figure out what to do. I drove up 2 blocks, got to where the no truck sign if I went forward was. The right-hand turn was fine. There was nothing marked there. The time it took me to look and figure out what I was doing, the kind gentleman drove up next to me. Kind gentleman, he must have been 60 pushing something. And hey, he was wearing a ball cap, retired Marine or retired Air Force. He's a military vet, I can tell just looking at him. And he was kind enough to ask me, are you trying to get to the interstate? Do you have something figured out? I said, no, I'm trying to right now. He said, well, if you'll allow me, just follow me, I'll get you there. Okay, God bless you, man. I certainly appreciate that. Very nice of you. So, he was nice enough to get me out of there. Pretty much gave me the same route I probably would have chosen, only 1 extra turn. I didn't know about a shortcut. Looks like I was going through the back of airport property or something. But got me right to the interstate where I wanted to be, and were it not for him, I probably would have taken 20-30 minutes longer to find it than with his help. So whoever you are, God bless you. If you're watching, if you see it, you did a good thing. I appreciate the help. God bless you. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. These schools, the trip planning and all that kind of stuff, they won't tell you that. They can't tell you that because they can't prepare you for every single situation you'll run into. But coming up soon, once I get through this little traffic snarl, my next little segment, I'll give you a few normal do's and don'ts I usually employ as good tactics to getting around with every load I drive in every city I drive through. Going northbound, they have you coming off of 275 East. Initially I thought, okay, it's just a long way around the city, okay, no big deal. But I guess it's just a bridge, so all you need to do is just go 275 East, get off exit 7, follow 471 North. Then you get on 71 North, you travel there. Probably the easiest thing to do is just start 71 North to 275. And 275 West to 75 if you want to keep going at 75. Rule of thumb is anytime you're going somewhere, one of the tips that I was talking about earlier, you find out where it is the place you're going to is, and you navigate from interstates down, basically. It goes interstates, then state routes, then county roads, then city streets. That's the hierarchy you go by. And I'll always put myself with the shortest distance between the highest level in that hierarchy. If the business is located on a city street, there's a good chance that there's a county road somewhere linking up to it. Or likewise, it might be tied to a state road somewhere. Or it might even be right off an interstate. Like this place I'm going to now, the Home Depot in Buren, Ohio, is right off of exit 164, which puts you onto a state road. It's Township 14, which I think is, there's another 3-digit number or something, I forget what it is. but it's right there off the interstate. You travel 1,000 yards, if that. You make a right-hand turn, and you turn right into Home Depot's entrance, truck entrance. It's right there. So I've been there once before. That's why I kind of know the geography. And like always, I look up before I go anywhere exactly where the entrance is, and I try to navigate the best way I can. And I stay off city streets and county roads whenever possible. I do not touch them because 9 times out of 10 there's some sort of restriction, and there are even cases where you cannot access it but from one place. And they set it up that way so you're not traipsing through city neighborhoods and stuff like that. A lot of places do not like traffic going through. It's not because you're too heavy, it's not because you're too tall, they just don't want the noise and they don't want the aggravation. So there are city councils that said, nope, we don't want it. Another classic example is State Route 11 traveling through DuPont in the city or near the city of Scranton. Alrighty now, we are back on 75 north. How about another 2.5 hours? A little less than. We'll be delivering at Home Depot. You're not always going to be lucky enough to be delivering to a distribution warehouse. It's going to be right off the interstate like this one. Also, another thing to do is call ahead. You can save yourself a lot of time in a lot of cases. If these locations you're delivering to have frequent truck deliveries, more often than not, they engage in conversation with the drivers when the deliveries take place. So they learn about things their drivers have to go through. They can pass that along to you with just a simple phone call. Hey, look, I'm delivering, I'm scheduling tomorrow at this time. You know, is there anything you can tell me about getting to your property that maybe I need to know that might save me some trouble and get me there on time or early if possible? It'd certainly be helpful to know what we got going on here. Yeah, hope everybody's all right. Front end of that Ford is no longer going to be used. It's a sad day for him. Keep a good prayer out for him. Anyway, so yeah, by calling people ahead, you know, you can always save yourself usually about a half hour of unknowns just by asking. If they don't know, they'll tell you, but there have been a number of places and times I've gone that paid for me to call. You know, A, you might be able to get in early and deliver. You wouldn't know that unless you call. B, you might be able to park somewhere close by. They might not know it. You might not be able to see it. You know, C, I mean, they might work with you on the scheduling. You never know. So, I mean, there's every good reason to call. And there's no bad reason I can think of why not to. So, if you learn nothing by watching this video, that's probably the most important thing. You know, one of the things you can look at Google Maps, Navigo, Atlas, you can look everywhere. But not all clearance issues and not all weight issues are clearly mapped on every piece of software or every map you have out there. There are a lot of things that change between the publication of these periodicals and the updates of these maps that may not make it. You know, that 9-foot clearance I ran into in northern Kentucky was a perfect example. Navigo had you going up that route right through the damn thing, and it said nothing about it on the map. I didn't pull out my atlas to find out if there was an issue, but I figured a state road wouldn't have a problem. And you know what? Not all state routes have the same whole truth. Some state routes do have clearance issues, and some are not clearly marked, and they're not updated, just like, you know, I made note a minute ago. So that's where calling ahead can save you. And there's links on every DOT website about commercial vehicle access. More times than not, if you look hard enough, you can find road closures or temporary restrictions that are put in place. You can figure it out and save yourself some time. I've done that in Pennsylvania and New Jersey on a couple of occasions. So yeah, sometimes if you're not really routing a specific trip plan or something, check with the DOT website. A lot of times if you put some in your memory, you might, okay, yeah, they closed 275 here, you know, and it's going to be going on from this month to that month. You know, 2-3 weeks down the road, you get a trip that you have to plan on going through that area. You'll sit there and say, oh man, I remember that. Okay, let me put that in my plan and see if I can get around that. So it's good ways to save yourself some time. Something to bear in mind. When you're navigating one of these big things, it's not just like pick a street and drive. As much as you can look at the Google Maps and see what roads are closed, you look at Navigo to see where the clearances are, you look at the Atlas to see what's marked at state level. Not all the time you're going to be able to go just pretty clear to where you want to go. You have to rely on context clues. What's that? Well, let's say you're going down a city street somewhere. You know the place you're going is up ahead. There's a couple of turns on the map you're not sure about. As you're approaching one of those turns you're not sure about, a good context clue would be to know whether or not you can drive on it. Do you see like a 12.9 box truck turnout? Maybe you see a day cab pull another 48. Maybe you see a full-size Freightliner pull out with a flatbed. It kind of gives you an idea. Okay, well, most rigs are built at least 13 feet tall. So, stands to reason, if the rig can go down there, so can I. Now, some places have preferred routes you have to turn to. There's a couple entrances to the business. You're not sure which one to turn in. As you're approaching, if you see a truck turning out, okay, well, you know they can exit from that way. Now, can I get in that way? Rather than turn into employee parking and make a big oops. Look and see where other truck traffic is. It gives you a little bit of a peace of mind to know, okay, I can go that way, and I don't have to worry about stopping to look at it, refiguring everything. And again, the obvious one is calling ahead. You know, I've already mentioned that. But, you know, signs and maps, they'll get you a long way. But clues to your environment will also get you a lot further, with a little bit more peace of mind. That was certainly a lot to unpack. If you made it this far, I'm glad you did. Hope the information I've given you, as much my opinion as it is, helps you out in one way or another. I look forward to doing that again. So in future videos, of course, I'll be giving you a little bit more detail about me, who I am, what makes me tick, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Stick around for that, because that's some interesting stuff in itself. As with anything, like, share, and subscribe. Help me become better so I can do more helping you. Till next time, God bless. Be happy, stay safe, and make it count.